Já už se odpoju.
Tak já taky vypínám video a volím jim to, jo? Takže zapínám.
So good morning. I can see that some of the participants are still being admitted to the room. So we will wait just a minute before we will start officially. Okay. So I will just ask if you can hear me well, if we can start.
Yes, we can.
Yes, great. At the beginning, just a few technical information for better connection. If you are not speaking, I will ask you maybe to have a camera off, which is great. I can see that you all have it already. And please be muted while not speaking. Okay. So we can start. I will at the beginning have to say that the meeting is recorded for the purposes of project monitoring. We will make also a few print screens. And yeah, I can see that a few people are asking to be admitted. Okay. So we can start. So good morning, everybody. I'm glad that the topic of modern HR trends and open science in research attracted you to participate today's seminar. My name is Eliška. I work in director's office, and I'm also HR award and gender equality coordinator at the institute. Today's seminar will be divided into two parts. First is the HR award and second the open science. And today I will present you some basic information regarding HR Excellence in Research Award and its implementation at CEITEC MU. And hopefully, I hope that I will be also able to motivate you to join some future consultations and working groups in the area of HR action. For the HR award part, we have about 30 minutes, including, I hope, enough space for your questions, comments, or any ideas you want to share. And I will start sharing my screen. Just please let me know that you can see the first screen.
Yes.
Yes, great. Thank you. Thank you. And I need to open a chat as well. And I can't see it. Okay, so because I wanted to start with some warm-up exercise, I wanted to ask you what comes into your mind when you hear HR award. And I will ask you to write just, for example, few keywords or short sentences into chat in like next few seconds. just to know that you are listening and to activate you a little bit. Okay, so Katka, Hošková, logo, Daniela, gender issues, great. So don't be shy and write whenever, and you can also admit that like nothing comes into your mind, and that's why you are here. Okay, so Jiří, open science, yes, that's true as well. I will show you later. Anybody? Okay, better conditions for employees. Great, thank you, Christina. And HR for MU, which is like a project associated to our HR award actions as well. Onboarding, thank you, Jana. Recruitment, great. So I'm happy to see that you have some connotations related to the HR award. So we can now move on. Okay, so to understand what it is and how it's like operated, I want to say that the HR award is a certification that is administered by the European Commission. And here you can see an official definition. To be frankly, I'm not sure that it helps a lot, but let's start with that. So the European Commission recognizes with the HR award those institutions that make some progress in aligning their human resources strategies or policies to the 40 principles of the Charter and Code based on their customized action plans and HR strategies. So now there is another question. So what are these 40 principles and what is the Charter and Code for researchers? In 2015, the European Commission adopted a so-called European Charter for Researchers and also Code of Conduct for Recruitment of Researchers. And these two documents are addressed to all researchers, research organizations, but also grant providers with the aim to improve working conditions and research environment in general. So these two documents defined these 40 principles. Each principle is somehow defined and includes, let's say, some golden standards that should be followed by researchers, research employers, and grant providers. So here at this slide, you can see the 40 post-its. Some of they may seem quite obvious. What does it mean? Like, what is research freedom or non-discrimination, or, for example, some gender balance, career development. Some of them might seem rather unclear what is meant by seniority or recruitment, or I don't know, judging merit, for example. We don't have enough space today to go through all those definitions of 40 principles. You can definitely find them online. The two documents are really short, so if you are interested, you can go through them. And what's also important to say, to understand like the logics behind, is that those two documents say like what is the aim, what is the ideal situation, but they don't say how we should reach them, which actions or measures should be taken. So here you can see the procedure of the HR award. So when CEITEC decided to apply for the HR award certification, we had to prepare a gap analysis, a pretty complex document that was prepared in cooperation also with employees, researchers, admin staff, and so on. We had to answer the questions, how do we fulfill or implement those 40 principles? And where do we identify gaps between like ideal situation and current situation? And then we had to define HR strategy and action plan to like move to this ideal situation. And after 2 years, which is like now, we are going through initial assessment, or also called interim assessment, which is again done on a self-evaluation basis. And after another 3 years, there will be an on-site visit, hopefully on-site visit, and not online, with external evaluators nominated by the European Commission, who will decide whether we can still keep the award or not. They will speak not only with the management, but also with all different groups of employees, researchers, technicians, administrative staff, group leaders, postdocs, PhD students, and so on. So this will be, I hope, pretty tough for us to show that we can keep the award. So it is really important to say and to understand that having the HR award, at least in the first years, doesn't automatically mean that the institution is already like good and doing everything well. It does mean that the organization defines some kind of strategy and a plan to improve in those 40 principles. And in 4 areas defined by the 2 documents. I will go back because I forgot to say that those 40 principles are like defined in 4 areas, which are ethical principles, working conditions, recruitment, and then career development, training and supervision. Okay. And here, here you can see that the HR award is never-ending story, because after those 5 years, every institution like has to define another 5 years action plan, and then again and again. So the award has to be renewed and renewed again and again. So the institution like never can say we are in 100 ideal situation. There is always space for improvement. Okay, so now we are moving from like theory of HR award to CEITEC MU situation. And before I will go through the actions we did over the last 2 years, I will ask and answer basic questions that I am often asked to understand again, like why we are doing, how we are doing, and so on. So would we be doing this even these actions even without HR award certification? Yes, we would do it. Is the fact that the institute has an HR award some kind of guarantee that it's the best place to where we can work? No, definitely not. Oh, because as I mentioned, HR award, at least at the beginning, means that the institution wants to improve, but has some gaps. And of course, HR issues isn't the only thing to consider. Are all actions implemented in like positively viewed and positively accepted by all employees? No, definitely not. Often we face some resistances because when we implement some action, like some group may feel that the change isn't good for them. Like, for example, in case of career system, there was a lot of controversies. And does the HR award bring us any money? Unfortunately not. That is like the most common misunderstanding, that people think that it brings us some money, but actually no, HR award brings rather responsibilities and new actions for us. But definitely we can say that HR award improves research environment and working conditions in the organization and governance. And definitely I think that we would never be doing that those activities in the same extent, quality, and time. It's something that pushes us towards to be better and like doing it in a really great extent. It definitely strengthens our brand, which has, I think, a good spillover effect also to our recruitment potential. And it definitely relates to grants as well. For the future, for the Horizon Europe, having HR award will be associated with our possibility to ask for the projects. And also on national level, it's already benefited when you have HR award or, for example, gender equality plan. So here you can see how CEITEC self-evaluated itself, how it complies with the 40 principles. The orange and yellow post-its are those where we identified gaps that need to be addressed by the action plan. And because I think I'm talking a lot now for a long time, I will again ask you for some cooperation. And I will ask you, and maybe the questions might be the same, but still, I will ask you like which topics, events, trainings, documents, whatever, do you relate to HR award at CEITEC Maastricht University? So like what do you have experienced? For example, you were in some kind of training or you participated some consultations maybe. So please write again into chat that I will try to open again. Sorry. It looks either that you are writing longer sentences or either you don't relate anything. Or you don't want to chat. Thank you, Helen. Definitely, yeah, Helen was involved in consulting and reviewing the recruitment policy. I will talk about it later. Martin, none of them. Okay, no problem. So I will move forward and hopefully next few slides will help you with this so that you will know what was done and what is planned. So as I mentioned, we are now in the phase of interim assessment, which means that we hold the HR award for the period of 2 years. In our action plan, we had more than 50 actions ranging from, let's say, pretty easy tasks that were like easy to be done and fast to be done, to some really complex projects or actions that took us even the whole 2 years to be completed in the first phase. And the actions were mostly aiming to change the institutional framework, our rules, procedures, and internal culture. Only some of them of the actions can be considered as, let's say, direct support of employees, meaning like working directly with employees, providing them with some, let's say, training or, for example, some allowances and so on. And that is also why sometimes we face a situation when people really don't see or feel the change in short-term perspective. Because like changing internal culture and changing internal rules and procedures, it is not something that you will just experience in short term immediately in your working life. So during the past 2 years, in 2019 and 20, the most demanding actions were formulation of new career system and new recruitment policy. The career system prevents an inheritance of research groups, and it incorporates some measures against inbreeding. It also regulates the principles for career progression, career development, and changes for employees working at CEITEC MU. It should bring us like more open and transparent conditions for options for all employees, like how their career at CEITEC can progress, what are career options, and where it's not possible to like go higher in the position. And the recruitment policy, it defines, I would say, really high standards for the whole procedure of hiring new team members. The policy was designed reflecting like interests of three groups, group leaders as hiring managers, but also interests of the institute and like protection of its brand. And also there was an aim to protect all applicants as well from any kind of misconduct, because it's really important to say that the recruitment policy should also protect this group, not only like to serve to us. We also developed several tools improving onboarding of new employees. I will definitely recommend to use the web-based information source called Admin Board. You can see the link. The Admin Board offers you with information about all administrative departments, who is responsible for what, contact details, and you can find there also frequently asked questions. And please, because this is again never-ending process, if you will not find their information you need, just contact us and we will add those information in there so that you can use it in a better way. We also prepared a brochure for new employees, your guide to CEITEC MU. We did several trainings, like recruitment for group leaders, facility heads and admin heads, onboarding and evaluation of employees, and so on. Also, we launched at the end of last year an alumni network of CEITEC in occasion of CEITEC 10 years anniversary. We ran a work-life balance portal where you can also find institutional work-life balance policy, where you can find all the measures and actions we are taking to improve in this aspect. And again, if you will have any kind of idea or recommendation, proposal, just write me, because we are planning to review this policy this year. We also did several activities as a part of our gender equality plan. We prepared a training calendars each year, which means that we tried to work in a systematic way to gather all potential budget sources and plan complexly training for different target groups like PhD students, postdocs, group leaders, and so on. Lately, the director approved also new data management policy and IT policy in 2019, I think. For some, maybe this is not an HR topic, but in relation to those 40 principles and the area of ethical aspects is included in the HR evolution plan. And for the last time today, I will try to activate you a little bit in the chat. And I will ask you what you would like to see in the action plan for the next 3 years, like because you think that it wasn't covered in the last 2 years, or because you think that we still have a lot of space for improvement, or it wasn't like mentioned at all. So if you can write into chat what is the topic that you are interested in to see in the next action plan? And I hope I will get more answers than before. But unfortunately, I cannot open the chat right now. So maybe I will read the answers later. The technical stuff is not working for me right now. Okay.
Should we read it for you?
You can.
Okay, so Mrs. Trshova is saying women returning from maternity leave.
Right.
Mrs. Robert says paternal leave to allow more gender equality. So these are for now, there are two messages in the chat.
Okay, so you can write more, and I will definitely read them after I will stop the presentation. Okay, so what is ahead of us? Topics for the future. So for the next 3 years, up to 2023, we will cover like these areas. Some topics are continuing from the previous period, and some are new. Like from the previous period, we will more develop the onboarding system, and we will move from the, let's say, paper to real life in the area of recruitment. We aim to strengthen cooperation with group leaders and heads of workplaces here as, like, I would say, key players of HR management, because the Institute's management defines those principles, rules, procedures to be followed, like these recruitment rules or evaluation system, onboarding procedure, like how it should look like, and provides administrative support to this implementation. But like this is also important to say, the real experience of all of us, of employees, comes primarily from the direct relationship and cooperation with her or his group leader or admin department head. So this is something that we need to focus now. And group leaders are those who hire people, conduct interviews, and directly influence the career prospects of team members, lead evaluation interviews, and builds also this group's internal working conditions and internal culture. So without cooperation and some joint consensus with group leaders, the HR effort would fail. That's the fact, and the HR action plan would never meet its goal and its, let's say, long-term sustainability. So besides the strengthening this communication and cooperation with the group leaders, we want to continue also to provide them and all employees with the means of their development, offering various types of training opportunities. This year, we will also launch new web section focused on career opportunities at CEITEC MU, presenting why people should join us, including sections of like living in Brno in Czech Republic and so on. Because we had a lot of feedback regarding that the group leaders would appreciate like help in this recruitment branding. So research next topic, research support department plans to open topics of mobility support and mentoring support, starting with some analysis of current state and consultation also with researchers. Definitely important, but also sensitive topics that are ahead of us are wage policy and evaluation of employees, including evaluation of group leaders from the perspective of how good supervisors, mentors, and managers are they. We plan to further work on improvement of working conditions and on support of networking at CEITEC. Again, a topic that repeats over time, and we have a feedback by both administration and researchers. We would like to build, let's say, bridges between people from research groups, facilities, and administrative departments. And last but not least, we will work on a system of some kind of regular collection of feedback from employees, like staff survey or something like that. And many more, like in the next action plan, we have more than 35 actions that are planned, and you can definitely find the full action plan online. The link is below. Okay, so this is my my favorite quote about researchers, for researchers, but without them. Definitely no. We need you, and we definitely want to strengthen the level of involvement of researchers in consultations and working groups to be sure that we don't only implement some kind of narrow view of management or administrative departments. Because of course we need like a diverse view on the topics and on the challenges that are ahead of us. So therefore, that's something I said at the beginning. I would like to motivate and support everybody. Just pick up a topic that is that you consider as important and join a relevant working group. You can either react to some public notice, typically published in the internal newsletter, or you can just write me, contact me, and I will connect you with a relevant and responsible person for the given topic. In the near future, I know that there will be working groups open and held in the areas of onboarding, mentoring, and gender equality or equal opportunities action plan. And that's like everything from my presentation. I will finally open the chat. Yeah, and so now I can open the space for a few questions. I mentioned at the beginning that I have presentation for maximum 15 minutes, so I can see that I was pretty talkative. So if you have any questions, yeah, thank you, Martina. Onboarding working group is today. That's a good news. You can either raise a hand or you can write into chat. If you have any comments, suggestions. Na zdraví, Nikolo. Okay, so it looks that it was a lot of information to digest. You can definitely write me or call me later on if you have any questions and you want to just ask individually. So thank you for your time. Now I will pass word to Nikola Kostplánova, our scientific secretary, who will open the topic of open science and open science strategy at the university. So thank you.
Thank you, Eliška. Can you hear me? Okay, super. So also from my side, good morning. Let me start the second part of today's meeting, which will be devoted to the strategy of Masaryk University in the field of open science. First of all, I would like to welcome our dear colleague from the Institute of Computer Sciences, Jiří Marek. Jiří is responsible for the preparation of this document, and he will introduce us the main principles and areas of this document today. Open science is still perceived by many researchers through open access in publications only. However, this area of research data, the era of research data management, so-called open data, or more specifically, fair data, as well as other aspects of so-called responsible research are now in the forefront of the interest of all researchers. And CEITEC strongly support implementations of all these aspects of open science to everyday reality. So please take this opportunity to learn about the concept of open science at Masaryk University and discuss your views, ideas, and mainly your experiences in this area, and help to share open science policy at Masaryk University. Unfortunately, I can't stay here with you today by the end of this meeting, but if you will have any question during this meeting, you can also ask Pavla Foltinova, who is a representative of CEITEC in this area, or you can also write me an email and ask me later. And that's all from my side, and I would like to pass the word to Jiří. Jiří, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Nicola. Thank you very much for a kind invitation to this meeting. I will share the presentation and we will start right now. So just give me one moment. I will share it, and just a moment. Okay. So okay. Here it is. Please, can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. So hello everyone. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Jiří Marek. I work as Open Science Manager of Masaryk University, and as your research secretary mentioned, together with Pavla Foltinova, that is your CEITEC Open Science methodologist. I will explain what does it mean later in the presentation. And we prepared for you this we can stay stop on the Open Science Roadshow at your institute at CEITEC Masaryk University to talk with you about what's happening in this agenda within the university area, and what we are preparing as a strategic plan for the next years of 2022 and 2028. So let's start with that. As I mentioned, there are two goals: to get you speed up, what's happening right now, and the second goal, the most important one for this meeting, is to present you the strategy. Please don't hesitate to write your question in the chat when I am going to talk. We will respond it later after the presentation will be finished. So I have also prepared some Slido questions. There should be also this question should be used also for the little bit warming up the discussion after the presentation. So not waste any more of the time with the starting of the presentation, let's go for it. So open science at Masaryk University. For now, as was mentioned also in the opening speech, usually it was perceived as open access to scientific publishing. Now the area has broadened also to the topic of fair data, sometimes also mentioned as open data. Those of you who know about open science a little bit more, so you know that probably there are 6 more or 7 more pillars of this open science, but the main focus at Masaryk University now is on these 2, open access and fair data, because these 2 are also the most important of all the open science family. What we are basically how we realize this transition to open science, we created a realization team that is composed from 3 parts. Basically, what you see on the screen, there is a orange I would say labels. So these orange written letters, this is what so-called core team of open science. So this is the management of open science agenda at the university, and it is based primarily on the Institute of Computer Science. Then there is the implementation group where the open science methodologist, as I mentioned, Pavla is, and also your colleague Daniela Tršová is. These methodologists are the first level support for you at your institute. And then the third part of this realization team is advisory board. Basically, it's composed from experts among Masaryk University researchers, administration and managers. And this advisory board help us to, I would say, put the open science at Masaryk University to the reality of everyday research life, you know. So, and in this body, there is your research secretary, Nikola Kostlanova, also present. So, as she mentioned in the introduction speech, your institute is widely present in this group of open science, and Pavla also is working also as a coordinator for life sciences fields of research at Masaryk University in the area of open science. So this is the concept of the realization team. And let's go a little bit more in, I would say, open science in numbers at our university. From 2020, we made approximately 20 events. We involved approximately 60 persons, methodologists or members of the advisory board, in some kind of preparation of the strategy and these services for you. In these 20 events, there were more than 300 people around the whole university research community. And we are preparing open science workshop. The last one was at fall 2020. And for the 9th of June, we are preparing the next one, where we should discuss with all the research community this strategy that is being prepared. Probably the most important and practical slide of this introduction section is this one. What does it mean in reality? In the area of open access, at every faculty and institute, there is 1 to 3 methodologists per organizational unit. So that means that you can ask any question related to open access to these methodologies. So this is already functional. We were for 1 and basically half year teaching and learning and giving information to open science methodologists, and we are able to provide you the support. If the methodologist is not able to answer, so then the question is passed to the core team, and we are trying to answer the question for you also. On the other hand, in the FAIR data, because it's a kind of a new area of the concept at Masaryk University, so now the support is mainly provided by the core team. And we are developing these services that should be divided. Some of them should be done by the methodologist, and some of them should be done also by the core team. We are very happy, like 2.5 weeks ago, we received a grant to implementation a tool to help you planning your data management plans, you know. So it will be available from, basically, we will be testing this year, but fully available by next year. And you will be able to make your data management plans for your project more effectively. On the other hand, there's a very important part of the communication. We created web that is still under development in many areas. We will add things, we will add more graphics and make it more, I would say, even more user-friendly. But you can find on the web the contacts for your methodologist and the emails. And we are doing this Open Science Roadshow to get you speed up with the topic, and also to prepare you what's happening, what is bringing the strategy in coming years. So this is it about the introduction. So please feel free to ask any question to the chat, and then we will answer it. And now the important part about the strategy. What is going to happen in next years? So the strategy is prepared for this 2022 till 2028. That means that is perfectly in line with the university strategy, only starts 1 year later, because we were doing the analysis and we are preparing the necessary support for that. It will be composed from the, I would say, administrative point of view. It will be composed from 2 parts: strategic document and action plans, because it is very vivid area and it is very quickly changing also on European and national level. So we decided to divide the action plans to 2 versions, one for 2022 and the second one from 2025. So it makes more sense, because it is hard to basically plan the exact steps for 8 years, you know. So strategy document has KPIs, goals, and etc. and guarantors. Action plan has the concrete steps how to reach these goals. Then a little bit about the structure. As you can see on the left side, there are specific goals. These are the two main. It's possible because it's modular. You can add more, tables there or more boxes. So it can be easily, for example, in 2025 with the new action plan, it can be added new parts. But for now, we are focusing mainly on this area. But that doesn't mean that we are not looking and analyzing the others. So this is on the left side, the specific goals. From the, I would say, from the strategic planning point of view, it can be seen also as a vertical goals. And then you have the support actions that are also known as a horizontal goals. So these are support for scientists, some internal processes changes, standards, principles, and cooperation, national and international. And these blue ones go through these specific goals like vertical, horizontal. So next slide is about the open science goals, basically, of the strategy. These are the goals that we are creating. There are 24 in total. It's quite a big number, but on the other hand, it's all connected together, And as you can see, the orange one are about open access. The green ones are about data, and the blue ones are about support action. Don't worry, I will go through them in the, I would say, human-like way in the next slides. So about the open access goals, we divided and we identified the two main obvious target groups: researchers and universities. This presentation is mainly for researchers, so I will talk about these two points mainly. So for the researchers, from the point of the strategy, you should get a more user-friendly repository at Masaryk University and connected services. What does it mean? The repository should be harvested by the usual services. It should be interconnected with other services, and it should be also connected with the field-specific services in the future. This will be, of course, demanding, but we are working on the concept how to do that. This is also the more user-friendly experience will be also provided, that we will kind of rethink how the publication will be uploaded, to the system, and how it is possible to make it as a service altogether. On the other hand, and that is what will be also discussion with the governments of the Masaryk University at the afternoon of today, actually, we are going to discuss also the topic of open access fund. Don't imagine it as a sum of money that can be used for anything, but imagine it as a, I would say, financial mechanism that could help you deal with the problems that you are facing, maybe in the funding of your articles, because it's not necessary that you have to deal with that all the time with, for example, Gold Open Access Road. I will talk about it a little bit later after next slides. Just briefly about university, the university will get all publication archive on one place in the repository. For that reason, we have to make this user-friendly, the repository more user-friendly. Then there will be the possibility, of course, with this more user-friendly repository, you will get visibility, and we are going to talk in open access 4 goal about the development of MuniPress, basically, and open access publishing at university level. And what's kind of important, and it's kind of framing all this period of the strategy, is that there will be a kind of better management of electronic resources, because we in 2021 till 2030, we will basically be living in the transitional period when the publishing industry will be changing from the, I would say, subscription-based model to the open access. And there are a lot of activities and initiatives happening at the European level in that, and a lot of talks also on the national level. If you have any question, you can ask me about it. So basically what we are trying to do, we are going to go a little bit ahead, you know, to these changes, to be prepared for them where they come, to enable to you researchers to have it like seamless service. On the other hand, we have talked also about the fair data goals. Just a minute, I will drink a little bit. So again, two basic target groups, researchers and university. For researchers, there will be a research data repository, and there will be tools to help you with data management planning. Yeah, this is very important thing, as I mentioned before. On the other hand, for the university, there will be the research data evidence mechanism, similar as you have the publication mechanism for the publication. Then there will be development of infrastructure for research data, and that means also that there are even the field-specific repositories are even more important in the data than in the publication. So we will implement these kind of connections also with the repository, and we are also present to the national talks how to deal with the research data infrastructure at the Czech Republic in general. What is important also is the last one on this slide, coordinated university approach, that we will get. We will also be able to develop a coordinated approach in that, because it puts a lot of services, you know, together. So it has to have some strategic point of view. So the third part, that are the support action, and this is important. Again, these target groups, there will be created open science services, you know. So basically, if I will go back to that. So on each of these goals, there will be several services connected to these goals, you know, and this is very important. The part Open Science 4, as you can see, the OS4, that means Open Science 4, goal of the strategy, that we will create a catalog of services that you will be able to ask your research support to help you with this task. Then in the OS3, that's one below, we will do the education and communication. It already started, but it will be in a more systematic way. And then important thing is that we will do we will try to help you not only to do a paper for the grant, you know, but we will try to help you with the data management planning, not only the data management plan as it is. For the university, then there will be open science processes, that's clear. There will be some standards, typically DOI, for example, it's for publication, but then you can have it also for data. And there is another identifier data site that we are talking about to have to be able to cite your data sets, for example. Then there is an idea of the area of the personal identifiers, for example, ORC ID and FAIR principles. On the national and international cooperation, we are, I would say that we are in contact with the main partners, and we will be able to provide sufficient feedback also to interconnect it to these areas. For the university, the last point is that this is not possible to be done without skilled research support administration, and that doesn't mean only open science methodologists, but also kind of data stewards and help with this area. So also this is part of the strategy approach. So now in more practical way. So open science services, what does it mean? For example, in open access, recommendation of journals, you know, so your open science methodologist will able to help you with open access journal. It's already happening in CEITEC because you are already involved in this open science topic. Just to give you an example, what can be. What's new, kind of new, is analysis of legal conditions, for example, compliance with the grant agreement or compliance for the compliance with the journal contract. Another thing is, for example, service as processing open access fund application. So there will be some conditions that you have to meet to get the funding from the fund at the university. So these are, for example, services that you can expect in open access. On the other hand, in fair data, there are the data management planning tools. That means that we will look on the project broader, you know, in the, I would say, project management planning phase, and we will try to find these like points when you have to deal with the data that is important for you. And then, as I mentioned, we are now testing the Data Stevachi Wizard tool that will be used as an effective tool for creating more easily these necessary documents, for example, for the European Commission Horizon Europe program. On the other hand, you will get the support, so legal. So if you will have some problems with the legal conditions, so you can ask. It will be organized by the core team mainly, but of course you will ask your open science methodologist, and we will deal with your problem or get you at least feedback. Then there will be technical and also methodological support where it needed. So what's important, we don't think about open science as a proclamation, you know, to just make publicly funded research more openly available, but we think about it as a new infrastructure of scientific services. So this, on this basis, is the strategy based. So, and now even hopefully more concretely, what could mean for you in the concept of this, of our approach, is this scientific research life cycle. And the data basically are going through all these research projects or research of your research, I would say, a research cycle. So as you can see, so on each of these steps, you will find some of the services, you know, for example, in the one thing, first one, finding proper resources, publication or data, you know, in data creation, legal help with using data from external data sets, you know, in primary analysis, tool for metadata, description of your data, for example, included in the research data repository, etc. So this is the concept how we are going to work with that, and it should be created a page where you will see this picture, I would say, and you will click when on the stage where you are in your research, and you can find you will be able to find these services. So some topics that should be mentioned more in detail. Financing on open access. Important part of the open access fund mechanism will be also the planning for article processing charges as an eligible cost in your project. So this will be important part of all this endeavor, I would say. So it's connected with the project planning phase, and we will give methodological support for the project offices along Masaryk University in this area. It's already happening, of course, at CEITEC. It's quite advanced in that. So, but not all the university is on the same level. Second thing will be created the fund, and the third thing is that it's not necessary to publish open access only with money. You know, there is also green open access road that is not so commonly known, and we are going to make more campaign about it to show you that it can be done also differently. It's not for 100% cases, but it's also a part of the story. Then development of grant conditions, we are closely looking at it and analyzing European and national open science conditions. And so we will help you with the adaptation for these conditions. So this is quite important. And for example, for the next open science workshop, we are going to invite a person from the European Commission, not a policy level, but the practical level, to tell you about the condition of open science in the Horizon Europe program. And this is important goal of that, as I mentioned already, from data management plans to data management planning. So we would really, we really don't want to make another administration. You know, these conditions for administrative, I would say, paperwork is coming, for example, from the grant agencies, etc. So with this approach to the strategy, we would like to say that there will be the outputs as a data management plan, etc., that we would like to help you in data management planning in general, you know. So that means that there will be support for you for data storage and long-term preservation planning, for the data stewardship, the taking data as a scientific result. This is a thing that will be coming in coming years, you know. So this is also important point. Then APC charges planning, as I mentioned, and also the topic of commercialization of science. For example, we are now in discussing with Center of Transfer Technology to basically set the boundaries where the open science is and where the transfer of technology is, because it's not, in the European perspective, it's not seen as two things, you know, but it's seen as a synergy approach to the transfer of technology, you know. In one thing, you can make a marketing for your research group. On the other hand, you can, for example, get money from the licensing, you know. But these two things has to be from the research support area combined together and kind of clear for you, you know, as a researcher. So to do that, you know, to be able to bring you all these services, so we will be implementing some sort of obligation, and it's called 5+1 obligation. As you can see, these obligations are not coming in 1 year, you know. It's not like next year there will be all of these obligations. Main part of them will be the most important will be in 2024, but we will start from the next year. And what does it mean? You know, the first one will be the APC planning in project as an eligible cost, you know, to make it as a standard, you know, through our the university processes. On 2023, there will be the planning for storage and computing capacities, because we will already know how the national level will be funding the development of these also technical infrastructure in this area. In 2023, there will be also the goal to start with the tool data management planning. That means there will be 2 phases, one before the project and one after the project, as is usual already in the European grants. 2024, archiving of all publication in the internal part of the repository, and in 2024 also the evidence of metadata of research data. We are expecting that this will happen at the national level also in this year. The +1 means that there will be no publication obligation, you know. There will be no like you have to do open access, and if you don't do that, so you can't publish, you know. This we basically are in line with the principle as open as possible, as close as necessary, and that means that we will give a possibility to every institute, you know, to decide how it will be implemented, this approach to the opening this kind of research results or at institutional level. This is the 2024 publication obligation. So that means that we are almost in the end. Strategy preparation in 2021. What we have done, we have a draft of the strategy with the goals as I presented now. Now we are creating the action plan and financial aspect provision, how it's going to impact the budget, you know, of the university, or what kind of funding we have to get to start, or then I would say more advanced services. On the other hand, we are now trying to get you with this information, with this Open Science Roadshow during the spring, and during the summer, we are going to work on the support documents and analysis needed for the final version of the strategy in September 2021. And with that, we will move to the approval by MUNI governance in fall 2021. So hopefully this is the preparation as we have planned it, and we will see how it will be developing in coming months. So that's it. So we have a Slido warm up for you. So I will I will give you floor for any question for now, for 2 questions, and then we will jump to the Slido. So please, do you have any question for that? I will look in the chat. Okay. Overwhelming. Okay, thank you. Great presentation, onboarding. Okay. So I can see, is anyone here who wants to ask the question now? Probably not. So I will jump up to the Slido just a moment, and we will ask the question here. Okay, so let's start. Let's start with the Slido. It is. Can you see it, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so first question. What are the most important parts of the strategy for you? Please write it, and I would like to ask also Pavla to send you a link for the Slido to the chat, and I will wait you for join up. So, perfect. Data management. Repository, data management plan. Okay. What next? Research data. Okay. Training. Perfect. Strategic support. Okay, thank you. Okay, so at least 2 more, please. We should be here 25%, so at least 2 more, that we have a 1/3 at least. Infrastructure available. Okay. So probably not. Let's go for the next question. Oh, repository again. Perfect. So what are the less important parts of the strategy for you? What doesn't resonate with you, basically? What do you think that it was there was unnecessary in the strategy? And don't worry to write anything. I don't know. Perfect. Okay, so probably no such opposition in this question and for the strategy. Another question: have you found in the open science strategy what you have been looking for? Just simple question. Yes, no. Okay, so everyone is for yes, but okay, so we have it like that. Thank you. Important points for implementation of the open science strategy that shouldn't be missed. You can mention it, what you were, for example, missing in that, and it's not that maybe it's not there, it's there, but it was not said, for example. Practical guidelines placed for big data eligibility in grants. Thank you very much. Practical guidelines. This is the methodological support. We will put all of the materials on our webpage, opensciencemune.cz. There will be practical guidelines. Place for big data. This is the topic for basically for the national funding that we are now discussing with the Ministry of Education, how to implement or support already existing research infrastructures in the possibility to have for the storage, and in the future for the long-term preservation of data. Thank you for that. And eligibility in grants, yes, we get several questions around university about this, and we will be asking the main research funders, about the eligibility of for example, APC charges in the cost, and also eligibility for the capacity and storage, storage unit in as an eligible cost for the grants. Thank you for that. Then, where the goals of the strategy presented in an easy to understand way. So that is basically, I would say, a little bit icebreaker question if you were understanding the presentation from myself. So be honest, don't worry. And please, the others that are also present and you are not using the Slido. So if you are able to join us, it would be very nice to have also more questions, more answers to these questions. No, perfect. Thank you very much. Good. So we can talk with the person that puts no later in the discussion, and I will try to explain maybe better. On the other hand, are you able to imagine how the strategy will affect your everyday research practice? Okay. Perfect. So we can say 2 to 5 yes, 2 no. Okay. Great to know. Thank you. And now let's go to the thematic areas about open access. What's your motivation to publish in open access? Do you have any motivation? It doesn't mean you can put whatever you want. Transparency, okay. Cooperation. Public money, public info. Obligation. Okay, that's not the best motivation, but it is definitely one of the important ones. Okay. On the other hand, what's your concerns about publishing in open access? What's your concerns here? Are you scared of something? Money, of course. Predatory journals. But mostly money. There's important fact that usually researchers don't know is that university is already paying, for example, tens of millions to publishers, for these subscription-based models, So basically, it's not new that we have to pay for the electronic information resources, but usually it was not paid by the research teams, And the whole problem is that we are now in this transition period where the old model is not abandoned, but the new model is not yet set, you know. And we take this very seriously, you know, and we will try to find every possible way to get to make it with the grants, you know, that will be as an eligible cost, or to give you methodological feedback how to do it with the via green road, you know, that is not, there is no need with the money. And then the third one, of course, find a way how to make this open access fund a reality, you know, to not as a permanent solution, but as a solution for driving the change, you know. So thank you for that. And bureaucracy, of course, yeah, that's it. I hope that I explained during the presentation that we are going to try to interconnect the already existing parts as good as possible, you know. So hopefully this will create minimum or no bureaucracy at all. Of course, the conditions, what's basically critical, the strategy is not creating some conditions, you know, we are not inventing any obligation itself, you know. It's just coming from the, for example, from the European Union or the national level, you know, and we are just trying to adapt the services that you will be able to deal with this obligation in some simpler manner. Okay, have you ever had any problems with open access with your project, within your project? Okay. 2 to 1. Next one. If yes, what was the problem? So please, the one who was voting the last time, so please, can you mention the problem? Financing, of course. Thank you. So I hope that I explained it already well. So now let's move to the section of data. Your motivation to sharing research data. It can be very possibilities, you know. You want to cooperate more effectively, or you can also, if you are sharing, so the other colleagues, for example, from different parts of your field are sharing more, so you can use together the research even more. Reproducibility, great, thank you. Faster development of the science, probably. Cooperation. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. So again, what's your concerns about sharing research data? And I am asking about sharing, not managing in general, but sharing. Okay. Intellectual property. Yeah, this will be one of the services to deal with that. We have also already a template for the how to evaluate, for example, data sets. Yeah, sharing nonsense, that's great one. We have already a template what has to be done as an analysis for these data sets to be shared, you know, properly, you know, from the point of intellectual property or database rights, or also personal data. Thank you for that. then your concerns about managing research data that, for example, you will not be able to find standards, you will not have tools, you will have no storage probably, as you mentioned before, etc. This is the question. Yep, IT support, available infrastructure, okay. So available infrastructure will be, there are, I would say, a lot of available infrastructure, but it's not coordinated on national level, and because it's a big investment, so it has to be. So this is the goal for the next period. Yeah. IT, of course. There is a plan to create data stewardship positions for the university. Data stewardship position at the core team, you know, on the central level, that should be shared, you know, between faculties, some of the faculties, and then ideally from the thematical point of view, and then there should be some I would say institute or project-based data stewards. There is a study from the Netherlands that they will need probably 1,000 data stewards for Netherlands, and that's the country with 17 million inhabitants. So probably for the Czech Republic, it's about 400, 500. So we calculated it for the Masaryk University to be kind of saturated with this kind of help. For example, with the data stewardship, it should be approximately 20 people per university, per Masaryk University. Okay, next thing. Have you ever heard about data management planning? Before, of course, than today. Quite good. Next one. Have you ever heard about FAIR principles? Because usually there is not, we are not usually talking about open data, but we are usually talking about FAIR data, also in the European context now with this sharing of research data. Okay, perfect. That's good. Basically, FAIR data means that you prepare the data. If you have a if you do the process of verification of data, so if they are 100% make fair, so that means that you just click and they are open or not, you know. So this is how you can imagine what the verification means. So this means creating metadata, clearing the licensing thing, description of the proper description, etc. Do you work with sensitive or personal data? Just to know if someone here is working with sensitive or personal data here. No. Okay, yes. There is also in the pipeline a service called Sensitive Cloud. It was seen at the presentation, and this should be area where you should be able to share your data with restricted access. That means that you will be only give some persons the access, for example, the colleagues or the person that are able to see the data, you know. So this is also in the pipeline of these open science services. Then, does your team use online workspaces for sharing with each other? So yes, we have collaborative workspaces for our team, or no, we do not share data online in the team, because there is the problem that you are sometimes sharing it via, for example, Google Drive or Dropbox, etc. And there is also existing material that's called Doporučení Masarykovy univerzity o správě dat. There is a document or methodology what is good to be used in this for this usage or not. Okay, perfect. How do you share the data with other teammates? Okay, so if you are sharing, how you share it? because usually, for example, we got answers that you are sharing it, for example, via email from the analysis of research data, or you are sharing it on these Dropboxes, etc. Shared university disk, cloud. Can you be more specific? Which cloud? What's the service? SharePoint. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So basically, the people that are here are doing it right. Great. Do you know what is ORCID? It's not the flower, but it is actually in this area, but it will be in minusculas, you know, not in big letters. Yeah, it's an identifier of the researcher, and it's going to be implemented also I would say, it's not obligatory for now at the national level, but it will be highly recommended to have ORCID in future for the research. Perfect. Okay, so about ORCID, we will also have a campaign about what does it mean to have identifier as a researcher. Have you already seen a completed DMP? No. Perfect. And that's it, you know, it shouldn't be, it's usually a document, you know, and we don't want to take it as a document, you know, because already from the Europe, we got signs that it is not the good way, you know, how to deal with that. So we would like to have it as a whole process, you know, because the plan should be updated regularly, how the project is evolving, you know. And for that reason, we analyzed several tools that are used to create these data management plans, and the data stewardship wizard is able to make versions, you know, of the plan during your project, how it is evolving, you know. So for that reason, we think that it could be a very useful tool for researchers. And very good thing is that the tool is created by researchers, you know, for researchers. It's not like it's really from the university environment. Then, what would you do with the data once are published in a paper? And we are basically getting to the end of the questions. Yeah. That is, for example, if you move it to the archive folder, or you leave it on the shared data storage. So it's necessary that if you want to reuse them in the future, so usually it's good to describe them with some metadata, you know, and a little bit like make at least some of the verification. So this was question in this direction. Thank you for that. Let's move to the next one. Do you have a set up folder structures which or naming convention in your team, or you have just one big folder where you store it like that? Okay. So I know that these questions are not. Yeah, it's a not representative research, you know, or sorry about that. It's not a representative research of all the researchers, you know, at CEITEC, but it implies that there are a very big variety of the level of using of open science services, you know. So this is one of the topics that we are going to deal with. That we have to deal with that also. Okay, last question. Was this presentation useful for you? And be honest, don't worry. Okay. Okay, so probably for someone not. So if it is possible to name what was missing, because you are actually the first stop in our roadshow, so it would be nice to have feedback for the next steps, you know, and for the development of the strategy. So, okay, so if you don't want to share it, don't worry, it's no problem, and you will probably get also feedback form after this workshop. So I will stop sharing for now, and I will ask if you have any other question to that. Don't hesitate to come forward to the screen and ask in person. So floor is yours. Thank you. So probably no questions. So with that, I think that I would like to thank you for your attention during this last hour. And or Eliška, do you want to ask anything? No, only putting camera. Perfect. So thank you for that. It was our first stop. What's going to be happening in May is that we are going to go to another faculties and institute of Masaryk University, and the feedback that we will get from this roadshow. So we will present on 9th of June at the next Open Science workshop for all the university. There will be also presentation again of this strategy, and we will have two international speakers. One will be from the European Commission about the condition of open science in Horizon Europe program, and the second one, we are now looking for one institute from abroad that would be willing to share the strategy of their institute with us, or their university. So thank you for that, and thank you for the possibility to speak to you today.
Okay, Jirka, I would like to thank both speakers, Jirka and Eliška, and also for your attention. And we are looking forward to University Open Science Workshop. Okay, bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. So bye.